Okay, just let it. There we go. We're live. Okay, go ahead. This one. Woohoo! We're here. Look at this. Isn't this exciting?
It's exciting.
It's just overwhelmingly exciting. Okay.
Welcome to the One Page Story Extravaganza podcast, episode
142.
Thank you. And Runcie Man is inspired by suggestions or ideas that come his way. And he produces at least one finished one-page story every day. And he does these live Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being on the show. Yeah, this is good. This is exciting. This is going to be a different kind of stream today because, here's today's page. Let's just do this stuff first. Okay, this is today's page. It's called Onions. The suggestion was from Philip Chandler. And the suggestion was so professional. The suggestion was onions have become sentient and are trying to take over the world. So that's what I came up with. If you want to see the original, it's on Patreon, and that's in the links. And then what else? Oh, okay. So today is 3 Prompt Thursday.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
3 Prompt Thursday. So I've got 3 prompts ready to go. It's very exciting. Somebody's saying hi.
Hi.
So if you click on that, you can show it, and it comes up on the screen, and then you can click it again, and it'll disappear. And that's Chris. Chris is in Mexico.
Cool.
And this is so today, for those that don't know, I am joined by Lori, and Lori is my much better half. So, and today we're going to talk about stuff that is usually outside of the realm of what I generally do, because generally it's just, hey, here's a suggestion, and hey, here I am making a page. I'm going to work on a page, but while I'm doing that, we're going to talk about show books, and some of those books are going to be ones that. She says, "Nice to meet you, Lori." So you can type there if you click on the box at the bottom, and then you can type back to people too. But you can also just talk to them. So today during the stream, I'm going to be working on our three prompt page at the same time as we chat about different books that we've got interest in and that we really enjoy. And so Lori's brought a bunch down from her bookshelves, and then I've got some more from my bookshelves, and we're gonna do a bit of a shoe. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to answer. If anybody has any one-page suggestions, feel free to shoot them out. Otherwise, I'm gonna write down the 3 prompts for today, and then I'll switch the camera over so that while I'm doodly doing, you can start showing books. You can either hold them up for this camera, or we can put them under that.
Okay.
One.
So where'd you come up with these prompts?
So Dee Dee Willingham, on her stream, she has a bag, and she has written on hundreds of little pieces of paper that she has prepared, and she puts them in this bag, and then whenever anyone that's watching her streams asks for 3 prompts, she'll dig into that bag and pull out 3 of these little cards.
Okay.
And that's the randomness of the 3 prompts. But with the prompts that I've got, I've done a number of different pages, like kangaroo, pyramid, airplane. I did a page called The Australian Rumor, and he was trying to stop a jewel thief that was after some diamond pyramid on an airplane. So, it's just random. Yeah. We got people checking in. So you could say hi when they come up. And
hi, Canadian artisan.
Yeah, so, okay, so I'm going to write down our 3 prompts and put them up on the station, on the screen, and I'll get you to switch the cameras in a moment. Oranges, any game, and Cyclops is the suggestions. There's the prompts. Sorry.
Oops.
I have never tried the prompts. Can you read that for me? Because it's too far.
I have never tried the prompt game, but I just got one set that includes items, colors, media to use, and more.
Super cool. That's very cool. Have you tried ever asking Dee Dee for 3 prompts, Chris? Okay, so can you switch or click on the above camera? Magic beans. See?
I'm learning all the secrets.
All the
behind
secrets.
The scenes.
All the secrets. Oh, everybody's saying, oh, it's cute. Okay, Barbara's here. Uh-oh. Everybody behave. What's Barbara saying?
Saying hello.
Hello, Barbara.
Canadian artisan has done Dee Dee's prompts.
And I mean, it's really enjoyable. I think it's a lot of fun, and you can do a great deal of different things with it. It's just the thing that I find so compelling about the ideas and suggestions that I get here on the stream, as well as the prompt idea as well, is that I'm always open to anybody else that sees the suggestions or sees the prompts that I get doing it as well. You can do your own page because none of them are going to be the same. Like there's not a single way that I approach a page or an image or these 3 words that the next person is going to do. And so I think that's really compelling. I really, really, really enjoy that. And so Canadian artisan's name is Carol.
Oh, hi, Carol.
Okay, so yeah. So we've got, so today's a little bit different. So today we've got a number of books that we've pulled out of our various bookshelves. And we're going to give a little bit of a show. Woohoo! And so, Lori, I don't know if you want to start some of yours, but because I just got your typical old artsy fartsy fare. One of the things that I'm a big advocate of, we talked about this briefly yesterday in the stream, is that you've got to read more than just comics, and it's specifically the people that, all I read is superhero comics. What's even scarier than that are the people that are like, I only read one title. It's like, what in the world, right? So what do we got?
Is this a date? Barbara.
Yeah, this is a really boring date I'm giving her then.
It's fun. I enjoy it. Yeah.
Lori's got has taken the week off, and this is the scintillating, exciting times that I'm presenting to her. We're going out on Saturday night for an event, but other than that, we're just chillaxing.
Yeah, just hanging out. We enjoy that.
So the thing I was just saying was, there's more stuff, so feel free to read it. There's the thing I was saying is that there's so much out there that the more that we read, the more that we engage with, and the more diversity in the things that we try to read or to watch or to listen to, the more it just opens up our headspace about a great deal of things, so that when we're creating our own stuff, all of those influences drop in. It's not just you emulating one thing. So,
yeah.
What's Chris say?
Yay, book talk as I play with some acrylic paint markers.
Oh, excellent. Excellent stuff.
Hi, Dee Dee. Clearly giving priority to saying hi to me over you, Christopher.
Yeah, I know. I expected that. I'm going to have 3 times as many viewers today because the show just started looking a lot better.
Yeah, the image in the promo made it look like we're going to be airing from the beach.
We are. This is just a fake green screen backdrop. We really are at the beach right now. Here, listen to the seagulls. Hey, I'm a seagull. Did you hear that? That was a seagull.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody, who likes milk? I don't know what seagulls say. Okay. So, all right. So with that said, we're going to show a bunch of books. Do you want to get crack-a-lackin'? And for those that don't know this, once again, because we've got more people that have been joining in, this is my wife, Lori. So, all right.
Okay. So I thought I would show a book that fits within a lot of what you read too that I enjoyed. And it's Blankets. I don't know how well that's showing. The author is Craig Thompson.
So sometimes people might ask for the ISBN numbers, and that's just that bit of business right there to read if they ask. So
okay. So just to give you kind of a view of what the art looks like and how thick it is. However, that doesn't mean you can't read it in one sitting because it's so good. It's definitely a coming of age story because it's a first love, and who can't relate to a first love? The highs and the lows of that, and
it's a thick book.
You've read it, right?
Of course I have.
Yeah.
But that's it's a really thick book, and it's the thing that put Craig Thompson on the map.
Okay. There you go. Oh, here we go. Dee Dee has ordered the first in the Mitford series because Christopher said you love them. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to quickly skip Blankets. Go back in my stack here. Oh, where did it go? I had... Christopher, did you make my Mitford book fall on the floor? I was going to talk about the first book of Mitford because it's called At Home in Mitford. And it's set in obviously a small town in like the southern states area. And yeah, I must have just left it upstairs on my bookshelf by mistake. Anyway, there's a number. It's the author is Jan Caron, Karon, and it's turned into a very long series because of the popularity of it. And I think the popularity of it is due to how relatable it is and the character development of all of the various community members in Mitford and the life experiences that the main character, who is Father Tim, he's a rector in the local Episcopal church, and there's a great sense of humor about it. There's a great sense of reality to it, and lessons, life lessons that we can relate to and also learn from. And so it's just a great all-around read, and you can pick it up and read one page at a time, or you could just like devour it. It's one of those very easy reads, and there we go. Thanks, Christopher.
Can't believe my bookshelf is more orderly than yours.
At Home at Mitford. So, like, I read through this series all the time, and I've been reading them for over 20 years now. So, and he brought down the Mitford cookbook and kitchen reader.
Because that cracks me up. Flip it around.
Because, okay.
Hello, here.
Yeah, there's Jan in all of her glory. She's brilliant. I admire her. And food is a huge part of different gatherings in the town. And Father Tim cooks a lot too. Oh, one of the things, this is very personal for us, including having my mom have diabetes, with Christopher having diabetes. Father Tim has diabetes, and he has some challenges in the different books, and it's just fascinating to me that the author, truly understands all the implications that having that can have in your life.
It makes you handsome. You become an excellent dancer. There's a bunch of things being said.
Oh, okay. So here we go. So Dee Dee's going to get her Mitford book on Sunday. And Barbara says, yes, that looks like a thick book. My husband will tell you he will read it in one sitting while I look for something in my purse. And Robert Vet says, please, everyone carry on. No need to get up. Maybe we missed saying hi to him. I'm not sure. Oh, and then he goes on to say, Lori, at last someone with common sense. Oh, thank you. So, did you have books you were going to talk about, or am I going to do my whole pile?
Go for it.
Okay. All right. Thanks again, by the way, for getting the Mitford books.
Had to get that cooking book. That's crazy. You know, you've written a lot of books in a series when you write a cooking book for your novels. Like, that's just a whole different level.
Like throughout her book, so there's a character that she loves to bake, and she has her famous she's got a certain layer cake that she makes for every occasion, and actually it was one of the things that put Father Tim into a diabetic coma. So anyway, that recipe, like, these are recipes.
So I guess we won't be making that.
I would never make, but it's fun that she put out that book.
Man.
And so then my other author that I read all the time is Maeve Binchy.
Chris said to Deborah, it's a good reason to carry a small purse. Thanks. Is it? Roll it up. Just roll it up with the mouse in your hand. Roll the wheel.
What do you want
You're
me
missing
to do?
stuff. Roll up.
I don't think I have.
No, I know you haven't. That's why I'm telling you to do it.
Okay, so we left
There,
off with...
Didi. What's Didi saying?
Oh, yeah, I'm Lori. I was asking my mom why she named me, because she had reasons for naming my older sisters. Absolutely no reason for giving me my name, but that's okay. I like my name. Yeah, and then Chris with a good reason to have a small purse for sure.
That's why I don't have a big purse.
Want to read what? Can you see what Robert says?
No, just read it.
I keep telling him, Chris, I say, bring back Lori. The views go up. I say, and she smells so much better than you.
That's random. What are you doing smelling us?
Oh, and then Chris said, just don't ask me to look inside my art purse. It has everything.
Oh, my goodness.
You can just imagine. Robert. Hi, chaps, one and all. And chapesses. I don't know how to say that word, but that's good. I like that. Okay, so Maeve Binchy. I am a little bit frustrated because the first book that I read from her is Tara Road, and I can't find it. I have every other book of hers, and I can't find Tara Road. And what intrigued me and drew me into reading that book is it's about two women, one in Europe and one in the States, and they vacation and they switch each other's homes, and they basically it's a little bit like the concept of the TV show Wife Swap.
Awkward.
Well, you have to, but yeah, you kind of take on the person's life that you're living.
Jim says it's Lori and Lori's husband.
So yes, I was holding up Circle of Friends. This is one of her classic books, and it was made into a movie. I'm starting to see a trend when I pulled this pile of books of the types of things that I like to read. Clearly, travel, adventure, like not adventure in climbing mountains, but travel in terms of taking a twist and turn in your life and a new experience type of thing. A pilgrimage is a theme in the things that I read. And also a book that has a whole bunch of different characters and that there's really strong character development and you see the growth of those main characters as they experience the crisis. Maeve is just a brilliant storyteller. She's a classic, you're always told a good writer their opening sentence is an indicator of how good of a writer they are. And she nails it every single time. And one of her books that I read every year at Christmas is This Year It Will Be Different.
It never is. It's always the same book.
Which is a compilation of short stories.
Always the same short stories. Well, it says it'll be different.
Yeah. Also, a mark of a good writer is short storytelling, as exemplified by you, Christopher, with your one-page storytelling, being able to convey a whole story in a very short format.
It's mostly gastral humor. Today's day number 198, and I am working on page 198. So Saturday, it will be 200 pages in 200 days.
Cool.
So
that's awesome.
So I don't know.
Well done.
I'd set fireworks off, but I'm downstairs and they'll set the house on fire. It
wasn't like until April that I realized that you were trying to do that. And you kept throwing numbers at me.
562, Lori. 562. Hey, Lori. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's great. We gotta go to the store. We need to go pick up some bread. Hey, Lori, it's a purple pencil. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So when I actually started to listen to find the meaning in the numbers, I realized, he's trying to do a page a day.
And shout different numbers at me. Every day I change the number too. Because I had one more. What are we missing?
Okay. The Lori and Lori's husband show.
That's Jim. Hi, Jim.
That's Robert.
That's Robert.
Uh-oh, Lori, I have a question, an intelligent one for once. Uh-oh.
Who's that? Who said that?
Robert.
Oh, no, it's not going to happen.
Dee Dee, Christopher can convey a one page while spinning a pencil.
When I'm drawing, I always turn the pencil in my hand to have a sharp edge. And she whenever she catches me on it, she points it out. And I didn't realize at all that I did it.
No, I don't think I realized you did that either.
No more self-conscious about my pencil spinning.
Okay, here we go with the intelligent question. As time passes, do you find that you reread comfort books that you know and love and stick with new material from favorite authors? Or do you still diversify with new material?
Well, you do both.
I do. Yeah, when I know that my brain doesn't have as much ability to focus, I definitely go to my comfort reads. But when I'm like up for something new, I'll just start searching. We love the library. We're fans of the library, right? Yeah. So I search the catalog just with, different subject titles or just even like random words and see what comes up. And what happened last year is I thought, okay, it's coming up to Christmas. I should try to read a Christmas book, but I'm not a real big fan of like sappy Christmas fiction. It's just, I mean, there's a place for it, but it's not really my favorite thing. But I thought, well, I'm sure there's something out there that I'd enjoy. So anyway, I was searching Christmas, and what I got instead was the author, Jane Christmas. And I think she's Canadian. Yeah, she's Canadian. And I was so excited because I've almost read all her books. I haven't quite read this book yet, which is called Incontinent on the Continent, which is her and her mother traveling to Italy. And clearly her mother is not in the 100% good health, but the first book I read by Jane was she spent a harsh winter on Pelee Island.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the lowest
point in Canada. It's the most southwestern point in Canada, or the most southern point on the globe.
Isn't it equivalent to California's?
The top
latitude?
of California, and the bottom of Pelee Island.
Yeah,
it's the same latitude.
Yeah, therefore
we're missing a whole bunch of stuff.
Therefore, the Pelee Winery. Okay. Barbara shares, when my brain doesn't function, I go back to my Dick and Jane grade 1 reader. Otherwise, I'm into such as Tolstoy and Kafka.
I showed an adaptation I have of Dostoevsky yesterday. So that's kind of fun.
Robert asks, do you stick in a particular genre, or will you take a chance on something completely out of your milieu?
We're entering into an entirely new milieu.
I definitely have my go-to genres. I love biographies and autobiographies. I depend on others' recommendations. So Christopher's good for encouraging me to go outside my comfort zone because he knows what I'll like. And so I'll go with it if he says, you should read this.
Try this book on fishing, Lori. No?
Probably not. But it is definitely fun to discover new genres and authors, and yeah, it's limitless.
Any sequential books that Lori has in her collection, I'm pretty sure I know where those came from.
Yeah. Jim asks, how do you not fall asleep while reading at night?
You kind of do.
And then he says, answer, don't read at night. Robert said, my wife does that, Jim. It's incredibly annoying, and she does it whilst having me read to her, and I never know where she got to. He's having a big word day.
Who's that, Robert?
Robert, and he just finished reading Sporty Spice's biography.
That's all right. We're watching this television series. My wife really likes fast cars, and so we're watching this series about the F1 Formula One, and there's where our relationship is. In this relationship, she's in love with cars, and I'm the one that's like, fine, we'll watch your car show. It's a bit awkward and opposite from many other relationships, but what was it? As we're watching it, we realized that the guy who's in charge of the one race car team is married to Ginger Spice.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Watching a Formula One manager sing Spice Girl lyrics. Pretty good.
I wanted to just say one more thing about Jane Christmas. What's relatable about her is that she's a writer. So she was a journalist for years for, I think, the Toronto Star. And that's partly why, like, her adventure or sojourn to Pelee Island was she was writing columns for the paper. And yeah, and there was, I'll have to look it up. I'll look it up first, but I want to talk about another book that's about a pilgrimage.
The Canterbury Tales?
Oh, this was Jane. Jane did it too. She did the Spain pilgrimage. Do you remember what it's called?
No, I remember you telling me about
Camino. It's longer than
That's
that.
a car. You got cars in the brain.
But that is part of the name of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I can't. I'm sorry, I don't have any idea what it was called.
I thought, maybe I'd like to do that someday. And then I read the book, and then I'm like, yeah, no, I wouldn't even make it past day one. Because where she started, she had to climb a huge elevation. That's fascinating to hear all the different characters, again, multiple characters, she met along the way, and what she learned about herself and how she grew through that experience. I had, tremendous admiration for what she did.
That's like the new experience that I got when I was doing my belly dancing lessons.
Robert says, I can take her out on my bike if she would like. Ooh, that sounds fun.
Call her up.
Yeah, it's been a while. My dad used to take me.
What? No, I think you meant Christmas.
Your Jane Christmas?
Yeah.
That too. I like the World Rally Championship. My dad likes Formula One. That's Chris. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a world we were completely unfamiliar with.
It's far more palatable for me than Fast and Furious.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family.
Barbara says, bring on those Canadian authors.
I talked about one yesterday. I was mentioning, well, it was an essayist. I was talking about Northrop Frye.
And Robert says, oh, Jack White's take on the Arthurian legend is incredible.
Nice. Nice.
Okay.
What's next?
I have one more, and then I have the one that I've got to Google because I gave away the books because they're so good. It would be selfish for me not to pass them on. They were so good. Okay. So this is Jan Arden, and it's called Feeding My Mother. Canadian, Jan. Singer-songwriter.
Hilarious woman.
Hilarious. She has her own sitcom right now.
Highly advised people watch it. That's so funny.
Hilarious. So, she kept a journal. She lived across from her parents, and when she says feeding my mother, the subtitle is comfort and laughter in the kitchen as my mom lives with memory loss. So she would walk across the driveway and bring meals over, and hard to read, very poignant. Anyone who has parents can relate to this as you develop that adult-to-adult relationship, and as the years go by and aging has its effects, and sometimes the dynamic changes, and there's taking care of your parents that kicks in. So yeah, so it's highly relatable and very funny.
Where was it? Jack White's take on the Arthurian mythology. I have to write that down, Jacqueline.
Dee Dee says, nice Cyclops, Christopher.
Thanks, Dee.
And Robert says, too many N's in that name. Don't trust her.
All right.
So I need my phone.
Okay. Well, while you're looking up your thing, I'm going to bring up the books that I brought out today. This is, I like collecting sketchbooks amongst stuff on my shelf. So this is the Black Frog's Doodles, teapots and stuff. And so this is a book that's entirely collecting 5-minute doodles by this artist, by Black Frog. And so just the different approaches to nonstop looking at and drawing the features of different people that they see. Just quick 5-minute something or nothings to get down on paper. And there's so much to that, in that it supplies them. Like you can see the study of anatomy on the one side, and then the final choice of where the arm placement is on the other. And these sort of little developments are fantastic for working up. It's no different than your idea journals or your sketch journals or anything like that. But in this case, it's just this unending wealth of images to look back on and source and use. So I was really impressed by this thing. It was on sale, so I bought it. And just because, what a lot of fun. Jim, just one last job and I'm done. Oh, he's got a gun. Bad guy. Okay, you're up.
The Salt Path.
That's the name of the book?
Raynor Winn. Raynor Winn. Winn. So what happened is that Raynor and her husband, they had leveraged against their house, and the investment went sour, and they lost everything. All they had was what they had on their backs. So they just start walking. They're homeless, and they're like, we're just going to walk the coast path. And so she obviously journaled as they did that, and they camped, and it was very, very moving that they, they're in their 50s, so they had built up their life, and they kind of lost it all and had to figure out, well, what's next? And they were both kind of paralyzed. So this walking was a way of transitioning through to what came next. So she wrote The Salt Path, and then there's a sequel to it, because of course at the end of The Salt Path you're like, okay, well, what actually happened? She kind of gives an indication of, well, this opportunity opened up and that opportunity opened up. Real great example of humanity facing a really difficult trial, and realizing that there is always hope. Really hard to get there, but something always does come back around again.
So for the page that I'm working on, the 3 words that are suggested for it are oranges, any game, and Cyclops. And so the thought that's going through my head as I illustrate this first panel is, hey, what are you doing touching my oranges? That's what the Cyclops is.
Yeah, that's good. That's fun.
Yeah, I operate on a deep, deep level.
Okay, we have a question of the day.
Question of the day.
Jim, what brings you more comfort? Good artwork or good music?
That's for you. Go ahead, you Corey Hart fan.
Another Canadian singer?
Yeah.
Okay, but no, like I don't necessarily turn to Corey Hart for comfort.
Well, thank goodness. I could stay away from my wife. What is it?
It's music.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, it's I don't know. I really don't. It's kind of, I guess it's art, but it's more about the making of that.
Dee Dee said good books.
All right, we got a couple more. Do you want to show them? Or you go ahead and fill and go through what people are saying.
Chris said, I take care of my dad, 87. Since my mother's passing, I was lucky enough to know both my parents in an adult relationship. Yeah,
Nice.
for sure.
Your dad's 87.
He is.
He's having some hard times.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a couple books I want to show.
Okay.
All right, so this is Levallois. I can't pronounce it. And Stéphane Levallois. But The Ark. This is one of the books, the sort of things that I like to read are not primarily superhero books. I tend to find a lot of contemporary superhero plots are just reiterating pre-existing ones. And that's a little disappointing, especially when they try to reinterpret classic storylines and they just take a dump on them. So this is the sort of thing that I like. It forces you as a reader to rely on your own understanding of how you interpret the panels of here's this person who's slugging along on the ground, and as we step farther and farther back from him, you realize that he's dragging the ark. He's dragging Noah's Ark, and it's just an interesting idea. And this entire book is following this person in this diving bell as he goes about dragging this boat behind him, and all of the different characters that he meets and spaces that he passes through, and all the adventures and things that he has along the way. It's fantastic. It's really in depth, but the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. A really simple principle there is a gray wash and a black pen.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I really do. So I highly recommend this book. The ISBN number is 978-1 594651397. Anyhow, beautiful book, The Ark. And that's by Humanoids Publishing. And so this is what I'm referring to yesterday when I'm talking about many of the European artists that I like. This is Miki Montilo. Somebody told me that's how it's pronounced, and so I do my best by that. But wonderful. And then Rudenberg, the writer. Mickey's art, at the start of COVID, he started doing a journal about COVID, and or the virus. That's how Dee Dee says it. I like how she says it better. And so we picked that up. We got that mailed to us from France, and now he's been recording the first year of their child's life.
Oh, neat.
So that sketchbook should come together soon. I think you'll like that.
Yeah.
Or we should just check and see if it's out already, because now that little girl's on her way to being 1 year old. So his artwork is gorgeous. And there's just something about it that tickles my fancy. It looks very much like a Don Bluth or Disney film. Like, there's just the coloring is fantastic. The character drawings are fantastic. It's about a prison break, and they steal a warship that was in dock someplace. They break away and they go and collect this warship of an old captain of the ship who's been incarcerated because he was framed. And so it's this entire involved story, and it's just something else. And it goes, and so there's 2 volumes of this now. But there's so much to this, and nice thick books. Magnetic Press. I talked about them yesterday. And then my last book to show is less a book and more of a zine magazine, really. So this includes Jonathan Kirtle, David Drake, Neil Gaiman, Alyssa Whitney, Michael McClure, Dave McKeon, Rachel Pollack, Ian Sinclair, and Carl Waltz. But that's a Kent Williams image. A lot of these artists are just over the top. This is Baron Story. I've showed Baron Story's sketch notes in the Watch Annual on the stream before. And so you see portraits of all these artists doing each other, like doing drawings and paintings of each other. But there's Chris Chow. There's such a wealth of different headspaces with books like this, where you can see artwork that you might not normally gravitate towards, coupled with writings and short ideas and really short stories, or framed in the form of poems. Or I find it really compelling. And there's a big Dave McKeon piece in the center of it called His Story or History, and just amazing stuff, amazing work by everybody all around. The end. But Fishwife, so much good stuff. And there's a Bill Coe piece at the back, another great artist. But this is an older book. There's a story by Neil Gaiman, a short in here of that as well. So a lot of fun. But you can see all the very different styles of art. There's a couple publishers. Ellen Spiegel Fine Arts is responsible for publishing a great deal of these McKeon books and the like. But there's two publishing houses that I really like for this kind of avant-garde art, and that's Ellen Spiegel Fine Arts and Vanguard Publishing. It's called Bento, which is Japanese for story art box. So, yeah, the Bento restaurant, the Ben, whatever it's called, that Sean worked at briefly.
Okay. And bento boxes.
Bento boxes.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's my books today. It's a pretty short list with me. I mean, what am I missing? Is it?
And Barbara shares a wonderful book by Robert Munch, I Love You Forever. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
About the changing dynamics between parent and child, written for children loved by all generations. Absolutely.
That's nice when, especially with literature aimed towards children, where you can find books that are clearly all ages messages, but they frame it in such a way that ideally somebody's reading it to somebody younger and can pick up on references that the younger person's not going to get at all, because largely that's written for the older individual in that scenario. I like that. I like that a lot. That's like yesterday I showed the day I swapped my dad for 2 goldfish. And that whole thing is zany perspective from kids, but it's entirely about valuing the things that you have and valuing your relationships and your family. And it's like, kids aren't going to get that, but that's for the folks. It's for the folks.
Lori likes books that help people learn and grow as a person, looking at the challenges life presents and how to navigate them with probably no magic or swords at all. Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, I think I find that good story has real characters, and it can be anything. Like my favorite. Okay, let's just pick. When I think of the most generic North American writer, I think of Stephen King because he's so prolific. But my favorite books by that guy is Dolores Claiborne or Misery. Yeah. And there's no supernatural elements to those at all. Or,
more psychological thriller type.
Very much so, right? I mean, the only thing that happens in Dolores Claiborne is that the major moment that happens in that is during an eclipse. And so there's all this theory about the transition and change and that happens during an eclipse, and that things can take on whole new meanings and lives, and there's all this writing like that, but the bottom underlying truth of that is there's nothing magical about an eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happens to be that moment that something happens. So I really like that. You know, I haven't read Gerald's Game just because it's not my bag. But when I refer to those earlier books, like The Shining to me isn't about ghosts, right? The Shining is about family, and it's about the madness and creativity. And I really love, absolutely, one of my top, if I had to choose top 3 films, The Shining is always going to be among them. Just because what Kubrick did with that book and made it so much larger.
Mm.
And I like that. Well, I'm talking and we're missing.
No, I think we're.
Are we caught up?
Oh, Robert made a comment. Can both together not be an answer and forever associate a good new album with that time story realm?
That's towards Jim's question, and that's so true. I mean, that's why I'm having a hard time separating the two. It's because I play music while I'm, reading, or pretty much there's music in our house all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I completely understand that, because when those moments happen, or when, Gary just joined us. Hello, Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Gary was at an event this afternoon. Yeah, I saw a photo that he posted.
Oh.
And it was, I think, the Arizona Museum of History, Natural History. And so he was, he had a table set up and lots of dinosaur images. Gary, DVSM.
Yes.
Yeah, so excellent work. Excellent work. Please go check out Gary's work. There's writers that I like similar to like the writers that you like. And most people know Frank McCourt, who wrote Angela's Ashes. I like Malachi McCourt, who's his little brother. If you've read Malachi McCourt's books, anybody, he is pretty much a fantastic troublemaker. And, what they call, I think he's called a bon vivant or something like that. But truth be told, he's a scammer and a troublemaker. And, Frank's books are all about the hardship of growing up in Ireland. It's we had nothing at all. The main floor of our house was constantly flooded with water. It's that whole thing. And Malachi is like, I followed Frank over to New York, and we had a few pints. It's just the complete opposite take on things, because Frank went through the lean times and then, made some measure of success. And Malachi came right along with that because he's the youngest of the 4. And I really enjoy A Monk Swimming by him. But then I also like Mitch Albom.
Yeah.
And who wrote Blue Like Jazz? Who was that?
Hang on.
I can't remember who wrote Blue Like Jazz, but I really like his stuff. Mitch Albom wrote Tuesdays with Morrie. And that's a wonderful, wonderful book. And it's a wonderful play.
Yeah.
But that book was really something else. What's
Donald Miller.
Donald Miller. Yeah. Now, I tried some of Miller's other books. And the problem is when you've got somebody who's at a point in their life and they're writing autobiographically, and they're at this point where there's vulnerability and all that sort of stuff expressed, when they suddenly make it, and then they're talking about the challenges of making it, they've lost me at that point. I want the suffrage. I guess if I wanted the suffrage, I would have chosen Frank McCourt.
Okay, hang on a second. All right. So, Gary, that's actually a relic from the deep past of 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. I thought he was doing it today.
DVSM appearance. Oh, that's neat. Blast from the past.
That's why I was laughing when I said, go get him, Gary, because I thought it was today. I thought it was literally today. And I'm like, he looks pretty young in that picture. I don't think he even has a beard anymore. Did he shave his beard off? Like, there's a million questions in my head. Because it's an old picture. Yeah, I'm a blonde. What else am I? Yeah.
Robert, I personally am both a rascal, rapscallion, and rogue. And possibly other words beginning with R that I can't remember right now.
Red licorice. That starts with R. Yeah. Okay, so here's the first panel of and drawing the Cyclops yelling over top of
So oranges,
any game,
and Cyclops.
And so I'm going to draw this one with vertical panels,
Okay.
and as opposed to horizontal progression through the page. And so in this first one, I've got him looking over a rock cliff ledge over top of an orange grove, shouting at people to get out of his trees. Two birds with one stone. But is there any? Is anybody got a particularly favorite writer that is in the stream with us? Like,
yeah,
that'd be interesting to hear that, because
Yeah.
maybe there's something that either other people have connected with or they might want to check out.
yeah. I'd love to hear that.
I had a really weird situation. Was it yesterday or the day before, where I got a friend request on one of the social platforms from one of my 5 favorite writers.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
And
I said, would it be equivalent to me getting a friend request from Corey Hart? And you said just about.
Yeah. Just it's practically the same. Not even close. What's Jim say?
Well, now that you asked.
Well, now that you've
I
asked.
Like Elmore Leonard.
Nice. Elmore Leonard is fantastic. There's there's 3 sort of writers that sort of hit that note like that with me. It's Elmore Leonard. There's some books like The Road. I know it's stuff that you're not interested in.
Describe Elmore Leonard briefly.
I guess the way he sort of there's a lot of adaptations of his work, but the way he writes is from the perspective of an individual that they're not in any way, shape, or form the empowered, able to do everything person. And half of the stuff that's going on around them is so incidental that there's nothing for them but they get swept up through it all. Okay. And they're just it's almost like, I find with some of his writing, it's like a person always trying to find their footing. Right. And then David Mamet fits that for me. I really like David Mamet's writing. He's a playwright, and he's written a couple of shorts, novels. I don't know of any full length novels that he's written, but he's written a number of films as well, like Heist with Gene Hackman. What's is that Seven's joined us? Yeah, hi, Seven. Hey. What else? Oh, nice. I like the Clan of the Cave Bear.
And
what's up that? What's it? Heinlein. Nice. Heinlein, Asimov. Herbert? You like Herbert, Dee? Gonna roll up. Oh, now we're going to get into an Elmore Leonard, Stephen King, J.D. Salinger. Who's the most representative of America? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Leonard's fantastic. I would say that Leonard is... See, the difference between Leonard and King is that King is proliferant, but there's a lot of recurring things in his books, right? Whereas Leonard is... These are in-depth studies of people. And these aren't the same people across different books. Like everybody's very unique and individual. What does Dee Dee say? Old.
I don't love Dune.
No. Dune's really hard for people to dive into.
But she says she really should try to reread it. She was very young when she read it.
The first 3, that's all you need. That's it. The rest of it is by his son and whoever else is just insane. But if you can get through the first 3 books, you've done Dune.
So
Those are Herbert's. Those are Frank
so
Herbert's books.
we our son gave Christopher Dune, the Dune game, as a gift.
Yeah, a board game
for Christmas.
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago. I say we played it, but I checked out immediately.
No, the entire family checked out one by one. It's the first board game that was so complex that literally retired the entire family one after another after another after another. But I kept there. Sean bought it for me. We're gonna play this sucker.
And you guys, the lights all of a sudden all went on.
Yeah, as soon as we figured out how it worked, we had a great time.
You were off to the races.
But I can completely understand that. Yeah, no, this is not a game.
I was asleep on the couch.
This is not a game for everybody. Yeah, Leonard Mamet. Who else? I had a third name that would come to mind.
Robert says, my life, personality, and psychology is entirely based on Terry Pratchett and David Gemmell.
Nice. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I think the funniest thing about Pratchett's writing is the one thing that visually he's most associated with is that the ring world, the world takes place on, it's this world on the back of a gigantic turtle, or it's a world on the back of 4 elephants that are on top of a gigantic turtle, just slowly moving through outer space. And like, if that doesn't start you with, see, where he's for Pratchett, I'm for Douglas Adams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Barbara says Mamet wrote Glengarry Glen Ross.
He sure did.
I think he's brilliant.
Check out Heist. I think he did Wag the Dog. I'm trying to remember right now. I absolutely love Mamet. What is Chris saying? I can't read it.
The first 3 books were really nice, Dee Dee. The Valley of Horses and the Mammoth Hunters.
That's Clan of the Cave Bear.
It was not that good, but I got all the books to finish the series.
Yeah, I read those 3 when I was a teenager. Loved them. At the same time, I read Mary Stewart's The Crystal Cave, which is all about Merlin growing up in Romani, Britain, and then eventually becoming the sorcerer Merlin. As he becomes older, but his entire life is predestined for him as a child, and he's aware of it. So he knows when he's going to die, and it's crazy writing. But Mary Stewart did a genius job of it, and I really enjoyed that. But my favorite Arthurian book is still Alice Borchart's Dragon Queen.
Okay.
The one about Guinevere, and it's a trilogy that she passed away before she wrote the 3rd book.
Christopher, you are wrong. Just sit there in your wrongness and be wrong.
That's Robert, isn't it?
You got it.
Yeah. I have feelings.
Okay. Jane is here.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jane. Dee Dee says, I am almost done with Sister Phildema series.
Oh, that's
28, I think, books.
That's the Sir Derek Jacobi plays him in the TV series. It's Didi. What's his name? Cadwell. I think it's Father Cadwell. I probably got that wrong.
Jane says the ring world where it's a giant ring around the sun. I never remember names or titles.
That is what David was referring to.
Okay.
Terry Pratchett.
Dee Dee also loves British mysteries.
Nice.
Jane says, and they have deadly sunflowers that fry you to a crisp.
There was a great series that I read as a teenager by a writer named Piers Anthony. And the first book was Cruel Lie, a caustic yarn. But Cruel Lie was spelled Crewel, Crewel, Lye. And the whole book is about this land called Xanth, and it's nothing but puns. The Xanth is this magical little kingdom, and everybody that lives in it has a magical ability.
Mm.
Like you can tell the future, or I can make fire with my fingertips.
Oh,
Like just
okay.
random things. And there's this one kid named Bink who is in love with a girl named Dor, and Dor at different phases of the month represents the three aspects of woman as represented in most mythology: the young girl, the matron, the maiden, the matron, and the crone. And she ages through the course of a month, and Bink's madly in love with her, but he has no gift at all. And so we're following. So the first book was a spell for chameleon, and chameleon is the girl's name. And he's trying to find a way to make her happy and see that her gift is a blessing, but at the same time, he doesn't have a gift until we find out he does. But it's the weeping willow tree. It's a tree that's constantly crying.
Aww.
It's a willow tree that's constantly crying. Like cattails are literally at the side of a swamp. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Okay. It looks like Philip has joined us.
Hi, Philip. I did, Philip. I posted today's the page from yesterday today, which was his suggestion.
Robert says, I'm British and sometimes mysterious.
There you go. But is he a novel?
Piers Anthony, Jane says. There's a name I recall.
Nice. At the same time as I read Piers Anthony, I read Stephen R. Donaldson's work. And he wrote The Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, the Unbeliever. It's basically a messianic character who has leprosy.
Oh,
Just messed up. But yeah, it's I was attracted to interesting books when I was a teenager.
Philip says the Harryhausen monster caught my attention.
Nice. That's what I'm drawing.
The Hag, Jane said.
Oh, the Hag. Yeah, thank you.
7 says Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yep, Sherlock. Yeah, I liked the Tarzan books when I was a kid. When Philip was saying the Harryhausen drawing, I immediately thought of Harry Harrison. Harry Harrison wrote the funniest Conan type story that I've ever seen. It's called Mention My Name in Atlantis, and it's basically if Conan washes up on the shores, like the ultimate barbarian washes up on the shores of Atlantis, the fabled city of magic and intelligence and civility. And yeah, he's not a good fit. So it's absolute ridiculous comedy, that book.
Jane says the Leper Guy books was next.
Which ones?
The Leper Guy books.
Oh, so the Thomas Covenant, Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, Stephen R. Donaldson. He also wrote a series about a private eye that was really good. Not as good as Douglas Adams, who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, also did a series called Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective Agency. And he has no plan. He's not a very good detective. He believes in chaos theory. And so he just sort of waits until the clues come together, and that's how he solves cases. He just goes with his intuition and just moves along in the moment. Absolutely ridiculous. Like he writes notes on a chalkboard, and then when he's done writing those notes on a chalkboard, he paints it white.
Yeah.
Or he paints the board rather than just wipe the notes off.
Yeah.
It's just chaos, right? Douglas Adams. So good. What's been said?
Robert thinks that this picture needs more blue.
Blue makes me sad. You could probably use some blue.
Yeah, I don't know how you do this. You're drawing and talking and monitoring by yourself.
Well, because I have
I'm
it
barely
on this
able
monitor over here, so it's
to-
close enough that
to
I can
keep
see it.
up myself here.
Because I can't read it when it's over there. Because
I know. A little too far. I guess we could have switched the screens.
no, it works like this. It works fine.
Okay.
Because you're doing it today anyhow, so it doesn't make any difference. I really appreciate everybody
Yeah, this has been fun.
hanging out and being so nice. Is there any other books that people? The Cadfell, Dee Dee likes those. I'm really interested in trying those out.
Yeah.
Brother Cadfell, that's what it is. Just because I remember watching the Derek Jacobi series, and they were so good. There's so many. Like we really enjoyed the Shetland stories. Yeah. Those were fantastic with Jimmy Perez. And we saw when we were the other day, we took Lori's brother out to see to this in St. Thomas, Ontario. There's a gigantic replica of this massive elephant that 100 some odd years ago it escaped from a circus and took out a train, and the train killed it. And so they have a monument for that. And so we went to
a tragedy.
Well, sure it is, but it's weird to just celebrate it perpetually. But we went to check out the little display for that with your brother, and we went. They've turned the caboose of this train into a bookstore. So we found out that writer's got a new series. The writer that wrote Shetland. And
Anne Cleves.
Anne Cleves.
Yeah, we like TV show settings that are in cold.
Yeah, like trapped.
Inhabitable.
Hospitable.
Inhospitable. Inhabitable.
Habitable works. I like that. We're switching it to that.
Habitate.
Inhabitable.
Inhabitable. That's the word. Places.
Inhospitable word too.
Yep.
We just need Corbin in the picture. He's upstairs in your office. I think that Corbin thinks that when he hears me talking in the studio, because he hangs around beforehand, he leaves and he comes after the stream's over. So I think he thinks that when I'm down here doing the stream, I don't have enough attention for him.
That's right.
And so why bother coming down? Exactly. And so I've even got cat treats behind me to try to bribe him at this point. Because I'm like, what are you leaving for, you jerk?
Robert asks, has anyone ever managed their way through the Silmarillion?
Silmarillion. Yes, I have. A couple of times.
What'd you get from it?
That's Tolkien.
I know. Yeah. I've looked at it. I would never read it.
Yeah. Well, the Cages, I showed a book yesterday in the stream by Dave McKeon called Cages. And at the start of Cages, Dave McKeon has, I think it's four different Genesis stories, 4 different origin of life stories. And so the problem that a lot of people have at the outset of the Silmarillion is it's kind of written like a Bible. Mm-hmm. And then it gets into this really flourishy prose, right? And it's not as immediate. Like there's a simplicity in The Hobbit that gets more complex as he's written.
So I was just going to say,
Lord
that's
of the Rings.
Only book I've read of Tolkien.
Well, and the reason I read a great book
is because I saw, when I was a kid, I saw a play.
Oh, okay.
So then I had the visual, which helped me understand the book. So
the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which was actually supposed to be 6 books, is more complicated than The Hobbit. There's more complexity to it. But the Silmarillion it's like you're dealing with a small town, maybe a province, and then the globe. Like it's just, it's so much larger in its scope. So, and sometimes that can be really off-putting.
Jane mentions Dragon Riders of Hern series.
Yep.
Anne McCaffrey.
Yeah, Anne McCaffrey. She's a major epic fantasy writer. Probably one of the most recognizable female fantasy writers.
Chris tried the Silmarillion by audiobook, and I have it, couldn't finish it.
Who's that?
Chris.
Oh yeah, no, it's tough. They're trying to adapt a series right now, which deals with, like, there's different ages of the world in Tolkien's world, and we're dealing with the third age in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit now. But they're trying to adapt that second age period where the main bad guy in the third part was the junior bad guy in the first part, and so he's coming into his own in the second. In this television series that they've put out called the Rings of Power, and it's either really disappointing people or people just think it's lovely, because it's just, they're trying to cram something like 1,500 years of this age into the same time period. And it's really confusing for people. And then they've introduced a character who's clearly their Gandalf, the wizard guy, because he's the most popular guy. Yeah. That's not in there until the end of that age.
Yeah.
So when Mithrandir shows up, what am I missing?
Robert loves fantasy, not new fantasy, grimdark though. And he mentions the audiobook's been re-released with a new reader. Cat Cam. Jane, I read those back in the 80s.
I've got an audio copy of John Hurt reading 1984 that I just love. He was the actor in the film in the 1970s of it. And he was the guy who owned the magic wand store in the Harry Potter movies. Oh, okay. And he's got that voice like this, right? And so him reading 1984, and he's older, and he's in the later years of his life as he was reading it. And it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to read this again. I'm just going to listen to this now. It's not true. I've read it since, but. Are we caught up?
I think so.
Nice.
I think Jane's saying she would like to see Dragon. Maybe her last comment is, "I've always wanted to see that series as a movie."
Oh, the Dragon Riders of Earth?
Yeah. That's what she's referring to.
It's tricky adapting material from one media to another. Alan Moore is the guy who wrote The Watchmen, From Hell. He's V for Vendetta. That's all Alan Moore. And the adaptations don't. V for Vendetta is set during the Thatcher era. I'm sorry, it's written during the Thatcher era of British government, and which is very. That wasn't a good time for people that didn't have a large degree of accommodation. And, she's the person that said that if there was all these complaints about the people not having enough money for food. And she said, tuna is very inexpensive. Like, she's just, go buy some cans of tuna. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of V for Vendetta is rooted in that culture. Okay. But to the extreme of it. So it's a totalitarist British state. And it doesn't make any sense when you adapt it into this sort of abstract form. Like when you adapt it to, in the film, they made it far more rock and roll than it was, It's challenging. Yeah. But, I like that film a lot. But it's compared to the book, The book is something else, but it's very much time and place. What do we got?
Okay. Robert, I said I loved it. Jane said they were not happy times.
No, not at all. That's your area.
Robert says, has there ever been an adaptation he has not disowned?
Who? Me?
Disowned. I'm not sure.
Oh, is there? No, Alan. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. Back to Alan Moore. Alan Moore says this quite simply. When people say, why are you interested in going to see the film? Like they did From Hell starred Johnny Depp. That film is garbage. Anyways, so Alan Moore disowns any other media adaptations of his work. And the reason that he does that is very specific and very clear. He has the film in his head when he writes it down. And he gives it to the artist, Eddie Campbell for From Hell, Dave Gibbons for Watchmen, Lloyd for V for Vendetta. The book that they illustrate is already a different movie than the one that played in his head. And Alan Moore can draw. Alan Moore used to do an awful lot of illustration work in the earliest days of his writing, which a lot of people don't know. So when he was first discovered by a guy named Steve Moore, no relation, but it's already changed when the artist adapts it. And so why would he care for anything further removed from that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, so he, why would he be interested in seeing the movie? It's almost like a bad copy of a copy of a copy to him at this point. So he's no interest in that. And he's not very much of a film enthusiast to start with. He's a reader. He'd far rather read than go to go to films. Dee Dee is the same way. She's a reader. She doesn't go to see motion pictures in the theater. She stated that a few times. But I completely accept and appreciate that that's how he feels about those adaptations, because it's not his work.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I said earlier about these contemporary comics adapting old stories into new they're trying to retell the stories. Like they just tried to redo the Great Darkness saga, which was a really strong, out of nowhere story in the 1980s. And they just tried to redo it in comics. So it has zero to do with the original material, except for these weird references that don't have any context. But then on top of that, it's a really badly written story. There's really bad structure to it. And that's, unfortunately, it's expedience in comics in the major companies today as opposed to quality. So why not just pick a different name? It has nothing to do with this previous book. You're just banking on the referentiality of it. And it's a similar thing to how Alan Moore feels about adaptations.
Yeah.
There's a number of writers that don't care about adaptations of their work. There's a great deal of them, actually.
Okay. Barbara says Viva Vendetta, same mindset as Justin.
Is he Justin Trudeau? Yep, maybe.
Yeah, I think he might be getting into political things. I disagree, Jane. I was very happy when Labour were elected.
You were a kid.
Christopher, can we do a one-page comic of Dee Dee's Rooster? Adventures of Sherlock Holmes and the Conspiracy of the Classic Monsters.
Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
That's fun.
I'll have to find out about Sherlock Holmes, Seven, because I'm not familiar. And Sherlock Holmes and what?
And Conspiracy of the Classic Monsters, featuring Dee Dee's Rooster.
Of the Classic Monsters. All right. I'll write it down and put it in the book, see what Dee Dee thinks of me doing it. Seven.
Bye, Robert. Thanks for joining.
Is Robert leaving us? Bye, Robert. What is Jane saying there?
No politics.
No politics. No politics. Let me tell you how I feel about Trump. I never understand Canadians railing about Trump. That's the wrong country. That's what do you. I heard somebody going off on somebody else I know. It's our neighbor, but at the same time, it's not helping America for Canadians to yammer on about it. Like that's politics that don't make sense to me. That and the young today are all lazy. What else we got?
That's it.
That's my cue. Bye, chaps. There we go. All right. Well, listen, what are we at? Right? 125. So my idea with this page, just to jump into this for a second, the oranges, any game, and Cyclops. So my intention is the Cyclops is looking over top of this hill. He's looking down at his orange grove that I've started laying in here, and he's shouting at people that are messing around in his orange grove. So, and of course, that's where the game fits in. So that's the basic plot that I've assembled in my head for this page as I'm drawing it. And then, like I said before, I'm drawing it in vertical panels. And so I've got 2 sheets with the ink on them like this. I may well use both of them to just have enough pieces of information to put them down on the page. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. What are we saying here?
Mm-hmm. His oranges would be as big as basketballs.
They would.
Jane said.
Yeah, these are not small oranges in relationship to this guy.
Chris says, "Nice Cyclops." Dee says, "Looks great."
Oh, thanks very much, guys. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Thanks
today?
for having me.
Of course.
You do this every day, and I admire what you do, and I appreciate the chance to join you.
Nice. Well, let's see. Saturday. Today is Thursday. I'm on page 198. Tomorrow is Friday. I'll be on page 199. Normally, I don't do a stream on the weekend.
No.
But because Saturday is 200 pages in 200 days, I think I'll do a stream. But I think it might be fun, and this is an open invitation. People, please let me know. The only thing I ask is this: if you're gonna join in, I put the offer out for people to join in into a conversation. We'll just talk about art on Saturday and projects that people are working on and projects that they're enjoying at the time. And I put that call out for people if they want to take part. But I've got, aside from people's weird hangups and language and politics being left at the side, but I don't understand streaming without your face. It's one thing when you're streaming from overhead and you see people's hands and that's working. That's the same thing as a face in my mind. But it's if you just have a logo for yourself.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, there's no point in being on. Because people want to engage with the individuals. So the offer's out there. The offer's open. I would love for anybody to take part. So the call is going out. And so I'm going to be trying to figure this out. Let me know if you're interested. You can send me a message. So anybody that's been in the stream, like even if you don't feel comfortable having your face on there, but you don't mind having your hands as you're working on a drawing or an image, just some sort of moving picture is basically what I'm saying. Some sort of engagement like that. So I think that Saturday we'll be doing something. What are we?
Okay, so Chris is going to join us for sure.
Excellent.
Jane says do a podcast. Phil was going to attempt another stream tonight.
Okay, great. I'll try to tune into that, Phil. Fantastic. Josh Campbell's been really busy putting out streams. He's been working on this huge page that is a scene in an opera theater. And he's had to draw the entire crowd and the entirety of the stage. And now he's having to color the whole thing. So it's doubled in.
Yeah.
So he's been doing streams of that. So if you get a chance to check out what Josh is doing, that's fun too. What's Gary saying?
Unless you're leaking government secrets, I think you can show your face on your stream.
Well, your face, your hands. I think the hands are just as valid. I had initially set up the camera today so that it was only on Lori. And then all it was for me was my hands. Because in my head, that's just the same. And she said, fella, move the camera over.
No way.
And she hit me with a stick.
The Artful Dobbler. Hey guys, sorry I'm so late.
That's Tori.
Hi. We're just about ready to sign off, but thanks for joining.
Sorry, Tori.
So 200 pages, 200 days. How about we're going for 200 subscribers too?
See, this is a fun idea, but how?
You can say it.
I don't know how to make that happen.
Just remind people to subscribe if you haven't.
A twinkle my nose. What did the Dream of Jean? She scrunch up her nose. I can never understand that for the life of me. Mostly how you can get your nose to make that bell sound. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't real. That was TV. TV's always tell us the truth. So the call's out there Saturday afternoon. That's I'll have the time set up for tomorrow. Yeah, we'll figure out a time during
Tomorrow's
our Saturday.
Friday.
Yes, but I'll have a time set up for tomorrow so that I will announce it tomorrow for what time we'll be doing it on Saturday, and any open invitation stands there. So Didi, Gary, Chris, anybody that's and I'm not excluding anybody whose name I didn't just list, but everybody's more than welcome to come and if you're interested in that. I think as soon as we got a good, I think I can do 3 or 4 people. I'm not sure yet, but as soon as we've got 3 people, 3 of us in, then we'll get cracking, and then maybe we'll just have people come in and out. So
that'd be great.
That's the idea, because I really appreciate all of the support and encouragement and interaction that everybody's been having here on the stream, and that helps to feed my my isolated little soul in my dark dungeon of a studio. She calls it a dungeon. She says, "Get the troll out of the dungeon." Yeah. So no, she doesn't. I'm just picking her. And then she hits me with a stick. So I've said that so many times over the years. She's never hit me with a stick. Yeah. So with that, I think what are we missing?
Okay.
Seven's having a birthday.
Jane said, helps to get subs to do some shorts though.
Yeah, I know. Lori is making me do shorts now.
We're gonna work on that.
We haven't stuck them all out. And the other thing we've been doing is that I'm doing audio on Patreon. I have audio recordings that we're doing of all of the pages. And so if you're on Patreon, if you look at the pages on Patreon, there's a file that you can click the file and hear it being read. Many random voices by myself and special guest. So it's kind of like an extra piece of weirdness on the Patreon.
Fun.
But yeah, we're going to be doing more shorts too. It's just tricky to.
It just brings another dimension to the page. No. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Tori has a birthday weekend.
Happy birthday, Tori.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. I thought I said 7. That's how bad my eyes are from 4 feet away. That's why I got the bifocal spectaculars.
Yeah. Jane said you don't like it being called a dungeon, but don't mind troll.
Yeah. Huh? Well, you kind of get used to being called different things when you're my size. So, when Lori and I first met, and she came to my place, I'd taken out a wall between the kitchen and the dining room. And I built an island for me to have more kitchen counter space. And she noticed that inside this island, which had with full cupboards, there was cupboards. What was in it, Lori?
Nothing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
No,
because it's would require him to bend down.
Yeah, too much of that normal size people stuff. I got to lean over and pick everything up. So everything I had in my kitchen was in the upper cupboards.
It was so designed for you because his living room had what do you call that? Floor to ceiling bookshelves on every single wall, and like these were tall ceilings.
It was 8 foot.
Like
yeah.
nobody else could reach anything off of those shelves except you. It
Yeah.
was felt a little bit suffocating.
I didn't have a lot of room in this place. I did not have a lot of room.
Yeah.
Okay, so awesome. What have we got? I just want to make sure I'm not making anybody feel that.
No, I think we got everybody
Okay,
here.
so again, even if I didn't mention your name, let me know if you've got interest in the Saturday
Phil
idea.
is at the tiny home show on Saturday.
Oh, there you go. Phil,
That
you gonna build a
sounds-
tiny home?
That sounds interesting.
He's not too far away. I could go help him build that.
All right.
She's like, no more projects, Jack.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, we're going to sign out for now. Thank you very much for everybody
Thank
coming
you.
out. I will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. EST, and I'll see you tomorrow. So if you just got to click the thing. Wonderful. Bye, gang.